Well, thanks again for joining us today, and happy Monday to you. Always glad to visit with you about our ag commodity markets. I'm Marlin Bohling, and as referenced early by the one and only Christina Loren, right next to me we have our very special in-studio guest. It is the one and only Chris Swift of Swift Trading, and he is based right here in the Nashville area. So, Chris, always good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Happy
Absolutely.
Monday.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, over the weekend, things seemed to be kind of quiet. While I was gone, a lot of volatility, I understand.
Yeah.
But over the weekend, maybe not so much. Let's take a look at what we have going on in the markets right now. We'll start with the corn market here, and we'll take a look. So, you be the judge. We opened up this morning with the end of Globex trade showing corn about 3/4 lower, Chris. Then we opened it up and we were 2 higher. Now we have December corn 2 3/4 lower again at 687. Take your pick. Depends on what minute you look at the price table here. March is down 2 3/4 cents right now. We're at 693.5 per bushel. Now moving over to our soybeans in Chicago, these quotes from bar chart show November 5 1/4 higher. Now we're at 13.89 per bushel. Yeah, we're higher, but we're off of our earlier high by about 6 cents right now. Now, on the January contract, we're 4 higher. And it's interesting where the nearbys are definitely showing the most strength here in that soybean trade. Now, moving on to the wheat. Now, in Chicago, December, 12 higher at 871 3/4. So double-digit gains on the first 3 contract months there, but it's off of its earlier high here by roughly about 6 cents or so. Now, if we go to Kansas City wheat, December is up a dime at 962 1/4. So that's about 7 cents off of its early high from the early morning trade. Spring wheat in Minneapolis now up 8 1/4 at 962 1/2. So it finally firmed up. It was trolling around near the lows of the evening session, and now it's starting to follow suit here with what's going on in Chicago and Kansas City. On the cotton, we have December now up 111 points at 84.26 per barrel. I'm still thinking crude oil here. Per pound, 84.26 on the cotton. Now let's take a look at the crude oil trade. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Up $1.03 per barrel at 86.64 per barrel there on that November contract. I'll get my commodities straight here. All right, so Chris, talk to me about what's going on here. Choppy markets here in the grains. They don't seem to really know for sure what to do. Here we are in the middle of harvest. The missiles are flying, the drones are flying in Ukraine. South America is planting, and I don't know if anything trumps anything else right now in the market.
Well, and probably not. And we see that the market has really absorbed all the information that we got last week. The WASDE report came out, showed about a half a bushel acre less in the corn market, a little bit smaller in the soybean market. But what the USDA started to do was lower the demand too. If lowering supply and lowering demand, that keeps the carry out elevated. So that's what we're watching for most closely. Is we don't think that you'll see the slack of demand is what they're calling for right now.
Were you surprised at where they came out with the yield?
Well, I'm pleased that they are continuing to lower, because all the reports that I hear is we're getting a little bit lower yields out there. So I am glad that they are rectifying that and seeing that that those yields are really lower. But until you get to November, December, where we've got greater than 50% of the crop harvested and they can look and kind of see what's left, there's not a lot to look for right now.
So I'll tell you a little secret just between you and me.
Sure.
Here.
Okay.
So I was out traveling last week. I was up in the northern Corn Belt. A lot of corn. Wow, there's a lot of corn and good-looking corn. Looked at a little bit of ear samples, you know. Filled really good. I mean, right out to the tip of the ear. I mean, I'd never seen it fill like that before. Got into some soybean fields. They looked pretty good. Went out and shelled a few pods and talked to the farmer about the crop and everything. But it seemed a little bit odd. To me, the beans, the berries inside the pods seemed like maybe they were a little bit small. And I asked the farmer about that, and he kind of agreed. He said, you know, I kind of wonder about that too. They were real loose in the pod. Now, I just wonder, if you multiply that out by the nation, you know, if that's very common, how much yield that would shave off of there a little bit on the soybeans. What do you think?
And it would shave a little bit. I don't know about how much, but it would shave a little bit. But we know that we had significant weather differences between the south, the central portions of the Corn Belt, and the north. And like you said, that corn looked really good up north, and I think a little bit later start on it. So we know that a lot of the moisture content is still high in some of that corn, and they're unable to shell it yet. And a lot of them have been able to go to beans. They dried down a little bit faster and were able to go to beans. But yeah, I think this year's weather pattern between the drought, the really intense heat that we saw for a couple of weeks during pollination is going to have some impact on this year's crop.
All right. Well, thanks for keeping my secret.
And notice price. Notice price. Price is still elevated. It's not been going down. It is still elevated.
Exactly.
Right in the middle of harvest.
In the middle of
down
harvest.
1 or 2 cents in the day, that's okay as long as we keep the big movements up. The
And
dollar
here's
side.
here's a little asterisk to put on that. When I was driving back, came through Evansville over the Ohio River Bridge. The river didn't seem like it was that low, but boy, was there a lot of barges moored up on the side of the river there. Just wanted to point that out.
Absolutely.
So something to keep an eye on. All right, we'll pause right here. We'll come back and we'll take a look at livestock next. Well, now let's get updated on livestock trade. So let's go to the big board. And here you go, live cattle. We have the October contract 70 cents higher at 147.65. Chris, is there any volume in October? Or should we just go with December?
We're into delivery right now.
Okay, so December it is. And we are up $1.10 in December at 148.87. February live cattle up $1.07 at 152.17. Pretty solid start the way it seems here on the live cattle board so far. Now on the feeders here, well, check this out. November up $1.47 at 176.25. You'll notice I glazed over the October. It's up 97 cents. But you go out to January, March, and April, they're all over $2 higher. So very strong trade here in the feeders. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know the corn market was that weak, but I guess it is. Down 3 or 4 cents here, the way it looks right now. Okay, lean hogs, we have the December down 27 cents. February lean hogs, though, and in fact, from there on out, everything is higher. February up 22 at 83.65. What does all this spread activity mean here this morning?
Well, I think a lot of it deals with the drought that we've been in and the enormous desire to expand and inability to do such. Everybody you talk to, we need more cattle. Our cow herds are dying down very quickly. We all need to expand, and we look out there to the cow-calf operator and say, we need you to go to borrow a whole lot more money and really start increasing production right in the middle of wintertime when there's no hay and pastures are in very poor condition. So I believe when we have the desire there, but we don't have the ability, they go to the futures market and they say, well, if I can't buy them on the, on the real market and try to raise them, I'll buy them on paper, because everybody believes that the shortage of cattle will eventually make the price go up. And it may not, but there is a true belief out there that might.
And there was a full expectation that we would have that donut hole.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We
can't.
can't find the weak spot yet, because the drought just keeps pouring more cows and heifers into the kill mix.
It'd be a long-term deal. All righty. Well, thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
I appreciate that very much. Chris Swift of Swift Trading with us. Janet, back to you.